Hello friends, family and other creatures of the sea, and welcome back to some high-level StarCraft 2. Today, Classic here in the bottom right as our red Protoss player versus Solar in the top left as the Blues are playing for Team Onsite Gaming. So we have Classic opening up with a cheeky and quick little block here on his opponent natural, and following this up with a Twilight Council, which I think has been built before the Warp Gate. It's an interesting opener that Classic has been playing as of late, which he will open up with a delayed Warp Gate, yet still go into the Twilight Council. Follow-up is going to be a robotics facility here, and the question now is this going to be a Dark Templar drop, or is it going to be a more straight-up 3 or 4 gate glaive build? Blind Spore is being produced? No, never mind. Spore, of course, was to make sure that the Adept doesn't get the kill, I guess. Would be very early for a Spore against an Oracle, to be honest. Gates are being added. No glaives yet. Now we get ourselves our 4th gateway in here, but there is no Stalker. This is the world's weirdest mind game. My man Classic here opening up with a nice little mind game, delaying the Warp Gate, opting for a fast Twilight Council, and then deciding to not get a unit that can attack air. And as a result, this Overlord flies in, sees everything, and Solar can just make the correct calls here. Starts a Roadrunner in the main base immediately. He's going to stick with 1 gas, I assume. 1 Adept just killed 3 workers. That is not okay. 4 workers have gone down against 1 Adept. That is really not okay. Now, 2nd Adept will fall here in the wall, but a couple more Lings will also die. Really would love to see this pylon being cancelled, to be honest. I think not cancelling that would be quite a mistake. That would be quite a mistake. There we go. Gonna get the cancel here. At the same time, the Overlord in the main base is going to get cleared up here eventually. We have 3 Adepts warped in the main, but the naturals where things really are going on. Lynx try to run out, and that's indeed what they get to do. Still no Prism on the way here. Never mind, Prism is already out. Man, I'm years behind. Classic's build order here and his execution has been somewhat odd. He's hitting with 8 Adepts at 4 minutes and, well, about 40 seconds, I believe it was. That is a full warp-in cycle later than you should be hitting. Usually you hit with 12 Adepts at this timing. So a significant delay here coming out of our Korean Protoss player. Is following this up with a quick Robo Beto. Gonna see some action with that, perhaps. Roach is being targeted down. More roaches being targeted down here. It's an interesting shade. Doesn't actually get a good trade. There was only a single roach nearby to help with the damage output. Usually if there's 3 or 4 roaches, this would end bad for the Protoss, but in that case all of the Lings died and Classic stays alive. 35 workers to 41. More Lings are in production. That means that these Adepts, I think, are going to get taken out, or a recall is a necessity. I wouldn't mind a recall here, to be honest. Simultaneously, we have a 4 Adept attack over here at the 3rd base. There's only 5 Queens around. I really think that Protoss players, myself included, often stay too long with these Adepts. You've already dealt your damage. At this point, let's take a look at the resource loss. We have 1200 to 825. You still have your little Adept drop going on, which is nice, but these, yeah, they need to be recalled. I think this is 100% the correct call. I think this was brilliant. Classic completely understanding what needs to be done with this build when the party is over. He isn't going to stay around for too long, doesn't want to help clean up. And he won't. He's like, all right, I'm out of here, mates. Boosts back home with that recall. Has a Gravitic Drive on the way here for the Warp Prism speed. 3rd base coming out as well as the 2nd Disruptor. Now, Lair is on the way. There's going to be a long timing window, a very large timing window, in which Classic will have double Disruptors in a Prism, potentially with Gravitic Drive, and Roaches will not quite have speed yet. This is an issue, as Roaches without speed are really bad at dodging Disruptor shots. Classic is going to once again put on some pressure here with these Disruptors in the prison. Let's see what he can do. Shades in towards the main, perhaps. Okay, here comes a nice shot. It's 2 Queens at the same time. Cancel on those Adepts. There we go. That felt good. That felt real good. Can we get a zoning shot on the ramp? Can we? No, we don't. We don't have to, perhaps. Classic is playing a fantastic game here. Still building workers behind it, is warping in stalkers, getting a forge. He's completely owning his opponent here, at least that's what it feels like to me. Now the Lynx are trying to get a connection, another zoning shot here coming out of Classic. Classic is winning the game here with this push. He's absolutely winning the game. Now these 4 roaches do need to be taken out. Decent enough splits. 2 roaches will still end up falling. So once again, we have a glaive adept attack towards the main. At the same time, I think a Ling run by killed 8 probes here. That's an absolute disaster. This shade is going to finish up. I'm not quite sure if that was the shade that was needed. Another warp in here over on the aggressive side of things. As these adepts are going to get taken out. GG gets called. Solar says, I've had enough. I'm out. I'm dead. I'm not entirely sure what warranted that. I guess the shade in towards the main base. Classic with some great movement, some great control. And despite taking losses here at home, wins game number 1. Second game here will be played out on Neo Humanity. So I'm interested in Classic. He's a player that has always had some different opinions on how to play the game. Just slightly different. I never really thought he was like a massive innovator, although he has had some innovative strategies over the years. But he finds like little loopholes, you know? Little loopholes in the meta game, which he then abuses. Often involving warp gate skips, or I remember him proxying Robo plus Twilight Council for some like weird glaive immortal timing quite a long time ago. Well, that's in a map called Kingscuff. That's exactly what he did. This time though, no fakes, no trickery. But the fact that there is no trickery is trickery by itself. Let me explain that. The previous game, Classic delayed his warp gate and played a Twilight Council build order. This time he delays his warp gate and plays a Stargate build order. The warp gate skip is not a reliable read anymore here for Solar. Solar knows that, and as a result, Classic can get away with this. This is a good play, I think. We'll have to wait and see if how Solar is going to respond to this, because I'm actually kind of curious. Once again, he can't be serious. I hope this is not the actual setup that he goes for, right? Where every single time his Stalker is just too late to deny the scout. You can't play some brilliant mind games and then disappoint me like this, Classic, time after time again. I mean, you're gonna get an Overlord kill, that's nice, but this is not entirely what you would have wanted in life now, is it? He's using the Oracle defensively as well. Oh my god. There goes your advantage. Alright, well. Overlord's gonna get taken out. I mean, it's not the end of the world. This is practically just a standard Stargate game. But if you set up for such a nice mind game with what you do in game number 1, and then you don't abuse it in game number 2, it almost feels like a waste to a certain extent. 2 more gases here are on the way. Is this what to be a double Oracle then? Or is he still planning on playing triple Oracle? No, double Oracle. Forge Twilight Council. A lot of the slightly better Protoss players prefer playing 3 Oracle a lot. I'm thinking Hero, I'm thinking Max Pack. These guys just freaking love pumping out Oracles at a high pace. Then dealing damage with it, but Classic is a different type of player. It does make sense that he prefers the faster attack here with the Forge and the Twilight. Now starts moving out with, I think this is 4 adepts here. He's going to get spotted by that Ling at the Watchtower. Is the Ling count high enough? We have 15 out. Does feel like that should be high enough here to deal with this threat. I think it's 2 Oracles and 4 adepts. It's not the end of the world. It's some post-apocalyptic massive force. Although a post-apocalyptic force would be smaller than a pre-apocalyptic force, wouldn't it? Apocalyptic. Because there would be more people before. So maybe this is a post-apocalyptic force. Apocalyptic. Oh, it sucks when you forget how to pronounce a word. Life is life. Roach Warren is on the way for Solar. And this is one of the less ideal counters to what Classic is doing. Most Zerg players prefer having fast +1 melee against blink openers. So the moment Solar sees these Stalkers, he's going to be disappointed. He's not going to be disappointed, though, with this surround here on all of those units. 2 more Stalkers do get warped in, but there's no battery here to defend the mineral line. And that means that I think that Solar perhaps could have even considered continuing to fight there. But that was a good trade no matter what. This is going to really remove a lot of the potential pressure that Classic could deal. That Classic could put on onto Solar in the mid game, the early stages of the mid game. And pressure here is going to be the name of the game, as Classic is playing a relatively late gas style. He had very late gases, opened up with 4 gateways first. So we see him warping in a bunch of Stalkers now. But if you lose so many gateway units, almost feels like you don't really have a right to move across the map anymore. This is an interesting follow-up here. We have a Hydra then, Infestation Pit, +1 range. This is starting to feel a whole lot like, I don't want to say it, but the L word, Lurkers. The Lurker is one of those units that against high Stalker numbers actually has some use. But the moment carriers are out, this unit falls off like a madman. You have all these resources just pumped into Hydra, Lurker and their upgrades, and then carriers come out and Lurkers don't shoot up. Hydras are not great against carriers. You need to go into Corruptor. Then all of a sudden you're playing Lurker Corruptor. You have to play Lurker into Brute Lord. And these cooling towers do collapse, and the debris blocks off multiple paths here. Multiple areas. Consistent creep denial coming out of Classic. Although I do have to admit, Solar's been doing a poor job spreading the creep. We're 7 minutes 31 seconds in. Hardly any creep tumor spread here. Hardly any. Robotics facility is starting in the natural. The storm is halfway done. Relatively calm game in which not a whole lot has happened. Solar still felt the need to build 17 roaches. I wonder if that's actually necessary. Your opponent is going up to 8 gas. Blink into storm. Feels like the roach is a unit you might want to skip. Instead, getting either more drones or just waiting with the cash until you can build a unit a little bit more worthwhile. No offense to the roach, of course. I'm sure your mothers think you're beautiful. As an objective observer, that unit pretty much sucks. It's not necessarily great against storms, not necessarily great against stalkers. Not great at splitting up, supply inefficient. It is very cheap though. It is very cheap. The roach is like a cheap knockoff stalker, you know? Less range, less use, can't blink, they can burrow instead. They're slimy, they're disgusting, but in a one-on-one fight they're pretty close. But they don't skill so well. And they don't have the longevity of the stalker. Wankers. Alright, Storm is out. This is a wild move out of Classic. I am surprised he's open to this. I am very surprised he is open to this plan. He's moving forward, taking out a bit of creep. Now starts his triple Stargate transition. And this is the one I was talking about. It's a little bit late though. I'm afraid. I'm really afraid of Classic. For Classic. I'm not afraid of Classic. He's a scary player. I'm afraid for Classic here. Does not have a prism on the map. Does not have a significant tanking force. Archons, Immortals. Nothing of the sort. It's going to connect one storm here. Come on, one more storm on this bad boy. We need it, buddy. There we go. Lurker gets taken out. Another Lurker almost gets targeted down there. As Tempest are going to be the unit of choice. Wow. Huh. Triple Tempest in production here. This would make a lot of sense to me if Classic had a massive Immortal force. But he doesn't. He does not have an Immortal force. So he's lacking damage output in his army right now. Like, this is fine if you want to break a Lurker position, but I much prefer carriers if you are afraid of being broken. Or if you don't actually have, like, the damage output of this army isn't great. It isn't necessarily the hard counter to the Lurker here. These are some good stasis wards. That was an okay storm here. But Tempests are going to take a long time to get through this. A very, very long time. And you need high numbers of Tempests, while simultaneously trying to increase the power of your army on the ground So we see Immortals being added in, +3 still being built as well. Here comes the Tempest. One lurker is going to get taken out immediately. Prism is on the map. Here we go. Tempest once again. Almost taking out another lurker. Triple Tempest here once again in production as well. We have 3 out already. One of them is not really participating. I think Classic might actually be doing this. Tempest, out of all units, is the one unit I wouldn't have expected. Because this feels like such a flimsy army. Such a flimsy little army. It's like he can just almost run on top of it still. You know, there's not enough Archons, there's not enough Immortals to really tank stuff. The moment your opponent is really killing you, you're dead. Like, start trying to kill you, you're dead. I do think that Corruptors just popped out. 12 to be exact. Overseers are being added in as well. We're going up to 9 Tempest right now. I guess this is a really passive map. He's playing the map. He says, hey, this is an easy map for me to wall here on the top side. This is an easy map for me to hold the middle with Tempest. I'm getting my tectonic destabilizers out as well. Uh-oh. This is a scary moment. This is a really scary moment here for Classic, in which the Tempest are very vulnerable. Storms are blanketing all of the lurkers, but the lurkers can tank infinite amount of storms. 4 Tempests do remain. This was an okay-ish fight here for Classic. Needs to be careful though. This is the type of fight you have to be so careful of. I think he might just be a little bit over-eager immediately again. Loses a bunch of Stalkers. Lurkers now unburrowed are starting to move in. How many storms do we have remaining? The answer is none. Super Battery not active anymore. More Corruptors are popping in over here. That Observer could get sniped. That means that the Lurkers will remain active for a little bit longer. Tempest in the Sky are not necessarily owning the Corruptors. They're winning the fight, but it takes a while. I think this was a good fight for Solar. I really think this was a good fight for Solar. 3 more Tempests are coming out now. And here comes another setup. Solar moves in. Super Battery still about 15 to 20 seconds away. Tempest after Tempest gets popped down here. And is there an answer to the Lurkers? The answer to that question is no. Another Observer gets sniped because there's massive air control here for Solar. Solar's just walking in and saying, hey, Tempests are fun, but Lurkers and Corruptors are a lot more fun, buddy. Look at this. Bang, bang. You're dead. At least that's what it feels like. There's no counter here for the Lurker. The 5th base just got taken out. This Tempest is going to get blasted in the main base as well. This doesn't look so good. It really doesn't look so good. 130 supply here for Classic. Against a maxed out Solar. I think Solar has it. He's going to continue pushing forward. He's even morphing his Spire into a greater Spire after taking out the Tempest. He's like, no way, you're still going to make any air. You need to transition back to ground. And guess what's good against ground? Broodlord, but also very high Lurker counts. Solar's getting both of those. And I think with this move out, he's going to pretty much force Classic out of the game. Overlord speed is on the way as well. Here's more Zealots are being warped in, but is there really any hope left here for Classic? He's trying to expand back to 5 bases, taking this top right side, but he lost the Rich Vespine Geyser. These Templars are coming in, but well, they're trying to flank Lurkers. I don't think I've ever seen a Templar lurker flank a Lurker before, and it failed here as well. Solar wins game 2 and ties up this series with a 1-1 score. Game number 3 here on Ancient Cistern between Solar and Classic. Curious what Classic has cooked up for us this time around. He's an inspirational player. At least for pros players like myself. That's a really fast pro block. Getting the other side of the map at the 37-second mark. Has to be some type of world record. Almost sent his first worker in that case, didn't he? That is actually really fast. Holy crap. That's interesting. That is interesting. Gonna get the low ground gate over here. A simulator popping off as well. Pretty standard stuff. Ancient Cistern is a map of possibilities, honestly. You can do literally whatever you want as a Protoss player. You can play Glaives, you can play Oracle, you can play some Phoenix if you're really feeling like it. It's not something we see every day, but technically maybe even double Stargate Void Ray Disruptor. Like back in the good old days when Protoss was still winning against Zerg. That's a possibility. Don't think we're gonna see any of that shenanigans. Those shenanigans out of Classic here. As he's had a pretty stable game plan in the past few months. And it often includes either Stargate or Twilight Council. With a little bit of mind game when it comes to the gas mining or the warp gate production. Wouldn't mind seeing something completely new, but like I said, Classic is often not a super innovator. He just makes things more optimized or changes it, puts a little mind game into it. Very good to watch as a Protoss, I think. True inspiration. Solar, on the other hand, is a player that likes to stick with what's standard. Likes to stick what he thinks works. So I'm kind of... Ancient Cistern is a different map. So I was going to say I'm kind of expecting another lurker play because it worked for him last game. But it is very different. This map is very different. So maybe more Ravagerling Bane, maybe some Hydra Bane. Solar has not necessarily scared away from Mutas in the past. He likes the Muta. He does like the Muta. As do many of the other Koreans. Stargate is being constructed. And what does that mean for us? I don't know what that means for us. I think that might mean that Whistling is trying to get a scout and will not. Look at this Overlord flying here. Absolute loser. Imagine getting spotted and then dying to a Stalker. That would be the saddest way to go, wouldn't it? That would actually be so sad. Like a Void Ray gets produced and gets sent here immediately. Here you are, you sneaky little Overlord, sending it all the way around. Being so cool about it. And then not working out. That actually would be quite sad. Stalker is now on the way. This time around, Solar is not going to actually do anything about it. Second gate is properly timed here at 320. Very nice to see. 324, 325, whatever it was. As this Oracle pops out. And we'll have a free path here towards the third base. Solar does not have the vision. Let's take a look at the first person of Solar. Spore on the way. Queen's not in the correct spot. He's moving them towards the bottom of the hatchery rather than towards the mineral line. Here comes the Oracle. That's one. That's two. And it's going to remain just two for now. But that's painful if you have two Queens and a Spore in position. No hull damage here on the Oracle. Just needs to recharge its shields and it can go again. Once more, we have double Oracle into Twilight, this time without a Forge though, and very fast gateways being added here. Gateways before the 5-minute mark are gateways before the gases. This is suspicious behavior. This is highly suspicious behavior. What are your plans here, Mr. Classic? What are your plans? I don't know, but I do want to know. Oracles continue dealing some damage here. They take out, oh my god, some poor target fire. They got 5 more workers, perhaps trying to go for 6. Only a single Queen and a Spore, not good enough to really scare anything away here. Our Lynx in position, well, defined position. They are around somewhere. Now they're trying to desperately move into position. Roach Warren does get scouted. Glaive Adept has a follow-up. Okay. For some reason, I was stuck with my head with the blink build, but this is just a pure Glaive Adept. Ooh, alright. 4 Adepts at home, 2 more being warped in. These bad boys are being real aggressive right now. What is the timing that we're hitting, Mr. Classic? What is the timing we're hitting? And oh no. Solar either scouted something, or Solar is going for his own little aggression. And in this case, the person that attacks first is often the loser. Very often the loser. Because there's so many units on the map already. For both players right now. You don't want to be the aggressor majority of the time. I don't think Classic is going to realize it in time though. I don't think he is. Here come the Glaive Adept as he starts shading in, and it's going to be welcomed by, well, more roaches than he would have thought of. I can assure you that. Like, wait, there's roaches done already? Like, that's not quite what's supposed to happen here, is it? This is a good shade though. All these roaches are being shown the backside of the Adept here. Finishes this shade and starts taking out a bunch of Lynx. He loses all of these Adepts, might be in some real trouble at home though. There's 4 more gates on the way. He literally has no units left. These two adepts are going to shade in towards the third base. Maybe try and win some time. Maybe try and kill a couple of drones as well at the same time. Two bad boys in the main base. Take out 2-3 more workers. And here a couple of drones do get taken out. Bang, bang. 6-7 workers die. We have battery on the way right now. We have blink. +1. I do not feel like this is such a great start here for Classic. He is fairly dead. He's up 20 workers, but he's down 50 army supply, even more. Right now, exactly 50, after that warp in. Like, this is bad news, my friends. This is real bad news. More batteries are being added in. Cannons as well, desperately being thrown down here. We need another backup pylon too, just to be sure, just to be safe. And here comes the attack. Blink hasn't even finished up yet. The extra gateways are ready for the warping. That means that we can get more stalkers, but also something like glaive adepts could still be possible, of course. They're good against Link. This is a nice initial defense, honest to God. But I'm not sure if it's going to be enough. As Solar walks in and says, "Hello, my dear friend. I have lots of Ravagers and Roaches. A couple of Queens in there as well. And you lost 20 adepts for free in the early game, so enjoy holding this." A very unfortunate build order match here for Classic. Was looking fantastic until he didn't. And it was Solar who inflicted this terrible damage upon him. GG gets called. Solar indeed wins the series with a 2-1 score. This was, of course, from the Korean StarCraft League number 10. I hope you did enjoy this. If you did, don't forget to hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, and I'll see all of you next time for a new video. Adios, my friends. Bye-bye.